Hi everyone, so we're just going to go over this problem right here. It's 6-5-2. So we'll take it one line at a time. It says initialize the variable addition to the function called addition function with the values of 3 and 4. So first let's initialize it. It says var addition, and we want to assign it to a function called addition function with the values of 3 and 4 within those brackets, semicolon at the end. This is how we initialize something on one line to initialize that function. So the reason I know this naming convention is because if we look here on the workbooklet, you can see here it's bolded, the variable addition, and the function is called addition function. So when it's two words bolded, it means you have to put it together and use camel case. We're just going to use camel case throughout the entire duration of this program, and it's the default way of writing things in JavaScript anyways. So we're giving it the values of 3 and 4. So let's do that. So right here, we're going to now have to set up the actual function to do the calculation. So function, it's a default word, and we have to use addition function because that's what we have to use as an identifier to find this function. And now in the curly brace brackets, we have the parameters. So here we just want to add like default values. We don't want to specify the actual value like 3 and 4 because we want to reuse it. So for example, we'll do num1 and then we'll do num2 and then the two curly brace brackets. And this is how we start setting up the actual function. And now we want to return something. And it says here we're adding the two numbers. So we can just do num1 plus num2 semicolon, and I'll put the semicolon at the end of the function. Essentially what's happening is right here we're setting up the variable addition, but we're also setting up what we want to do in the function of the addition function, which is 3. We have the values of 3 and 4. So if we have addition here, it finds it, addition function here, and then it puts the value of 3 in num1, the value of 4 in num2, and now num1 plus num2 is saying 3 plus 4, that'll give us 7, so it will return that 7 value back to addition, and addition is now equal to the value of 7. So if we console.log out the addition variable, and we run this with a node test.js, you can see here we get the value of 7 as well. And right here, the reason why we don't want to just do 3, 4, 3, 4 is because we want to reuse this function. Because what happens now if I add another variable called addition2? And we have now, what is this, like 5 and 6, and now what will this function do? It can't do anything because the values are hard coded. It even is showing you in red. If you see that red squiggly line, it means there's something wrong with it because you're not supposed to put hard coded values like this directly inside. So what you want to do is you want to have num1, num2, num1, num2, and what it's essentially saying now, find this addition function right here, place the values of 3 and 4 first. So num1 is 3, then num1 is 4, so it'll be 3 plus 4 is 7. So returns the value of 7 back to addition first, because the lines of code is read one line at a time. And then now it'll go to this line right here, and what it'll do is it'll look for this addition function again, and it'll be right here, and it'll place the values now of 5, which is num1, and 6, which is num2, and we're doing num1 and plus num2, so 5 plus 6, that should be 11, so it'll return the value of 11 to addition 2, and we should put the 2 forward slash because it says then answer on the same line. So this is a single line comment, and this should be 7. If we do another console.log, addition 2. This should now give us the value of 11. And if we console this out, like node test.js, you see we get 7 and then 11. So what it's doing is just trying to calculate things based on whatever you're giving within the parameters. So let's go back to the actual question because we only need the values of 3 and 4. But there is one more thing I want to show you guys, is this part right here, is what there was a good question by a student is, does functions only need to use 2 values in the parameter? And the answer is no. It can use hundreds of thousands of values. So if you want more, you just put another comma, and let's add now a number 1. And if you have 3 values here in the parameter, I always want you to change the parameters here as well, just because it's good practice. And this also, because also depending on which programming language you get into, if you get into like Java, for example, and you start dealing with classes, parameters are super important. If this has 3 here, then this should have 3 right here as well. So this should be comma, because we're adding more, and now it'll be num3. And now we're doing plus num3, like this. So it's going to use 3 as num1, 4 as num2, 1 as num3. So it'll be 3 plus 4 plus 1. So that'll give us the value of 8. So we'll return the 8 value back up to addition. So this equals to 8. And when we console log this out now, this should give us the value of 8. So if we do node test.js, because the file is called test.js, and enter, you can see here we get the value of 8 as well. But let's go back to the actual question. We only need the values of 3 and 4, so I'll remove this. So we just have 2 parameters in the question and gives us the value of 7. So we're not fully done yet. What we want to do here is we want to comment the function, and we want to have proper documentation. So what that means is you need to put 1// 2 stars and then hit enter. And as you can see, it auto completes if you're directly above the function. So you need to make sure you have this opening, which is the / 2 stars, and the closing star and then /, because that denotes it's closing. If you don't have that, you'll see here everything else below it will get commented out. So I want you guys to have this properly set up. This is called a multi-line comment. And what you'll see here, it tells you parameter num1, parameter num2, and that denotes right here the parameters that is in this function right here. And what you want to do is properly describe this entire function. So we'll do at description, we'll say addition function, and then num1 we could say the first value, and this one we could say the second value, and returns the addition of the first and second value, something like this. So it describes exactly what it is doing. And what you can see here now is it's describing exactly what this function will be doing, which is adding numbers together. You can actually put this as addition function to add numbers together, something like that. And then it'll say here to describe the num1, which is the first value right here. Num2, it'll describe the second value. And then what it'll return is the addition of the first and second value. And that's what it's going to be returning. And that's how you properly set up a function. The reason why you want to do this is because if you have other team members and you have a really big application and there's like maybe hundreds of thousands of functions, no one's going to know what each function does because there's so much to look at. So it's better to document exactly what a function does above it. So when another developer comes in, they can say, oh, that's what the function does. Okay, I could just use this name now for the function and use it wherever I need to use it, because they already know what it does. And this is how you properly set up the question here related to functions.